Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. The Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group is returning to the United States after an 8-month deployment that was extended twice and through the holiday season. Her mission began all the way back in May 2023 as an Eastern European deterrence deployment, but in October, all that got turned on its head when they were retasked to the Mediterranean Sea to deter escalation of the war in Gaza in that region. It was a long mission with unexpected extensions, and I really hope everyone gets to see their family soon. They should be back at port about the time you see this video, so I hope they're all having a great time. But even though being deployed is part of the job, everyone that joins the Navy understands they're going to do this at some point. Working in these conditions and experiencing them in real time causes great uncertainty and stress because you don't know when you're going to return home when your mission keeps getting extended and you're waiting for the next group of orders to come through of, do you move to the next, see the next box, next area of operation, or do you return to port? What's the next radio message going to say? And that causes a lot of stress and anxiety on top of the already stressful job you're doing. So everyone handles that differently. The way I did it is I exercised a lot. I worked and then exercised and then I slept. I was a bit of a rack hound, they called it, after about the second half of my career. I would do those three things, and that was how I worked and coped with stress. A lot of people will do recreational things like watch a lot of movies, just do anything to take their mind off where they're at and what they're doing whenever they're not on watch. Some people don't deal with it well at all. No matter what they do, they can't really cope with the stress, especially of not knowing when your deployment's going to end. That is one of the biggest factors of stress on board any ship. So whether you're being, you're stressed out because you're in the Navy or in the armed services, or you're just struggling with regular life issues, I want you to check out our sponsor, BetterHelp. So this is a very personal sponsorship for me because I began therapy years ago and it changed my life. I don't talk about this much because it's kind of embarrassing, but I was sick mentally. I was, and I didn't recognize that because I was the one that was sick. It's hard for me to see that I'm sick when I'm the one being sick. So I needed someone else to hold up a metaphorical mirror to myself and say, this is you, how the world sees you, your coworkers, your friends, your family. And I was appalled. I was like, I had to make changes, and I did. And I've been working through that. I continue to work through that. So, it helped me become a more positive person, a more optimistic person. And BetterHelp connects you with licensed therapists who can train you, or who are trained rather, to listen to you and give you helpful, unbiased advice to help you become a better person. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire, and this helps assess your specific needs. Every one of us is going to be different. And then you'll get matched up with a therapist, in most cases, in less than 48 hours. You're able to schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. And if you're like me, therapy can be daunting. You don't even want to start it. You may not be comfortable with face-to-face meetings. So they have therapy sessions available via messaging like this. Or you can do video chat and phone calls. You can use whatever method you prefer. The choice is yours. BetterHelp will connect you with your network, with a network of over 30,000 therapists. This gives you a wider range of expertise to choose from. And if your first therapist isn't right for you, which is very common, you can switch to a new therapist at no cost. So there's no stress about insurance and whether somebody's in your insurance network or anything like that. It doesn't matter. It's at no cost to you. So if you think you might benefit from therapy like I did, consider BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/subbrief. All right, let's go to Bahrain, where USS Carney has returned to port there and is being awarded a lot of well-deserved recognition and medals for their actions in the Red Sea since October. So USS Carney officers get awarded the Combat Action, I don't know if it's a ribbon or a medal, but a Combat Action Award from the Admiral there as they return to port for their shooting down of drones and ballistic missiles off the coast of Yemen that were fired by the Houthi faction over there. Members of the crew were specifically awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, which is kind of a common medal in the Navy, but it's really important. It goes towards promotion, looks good on your uniform. Anyone that's been in the Navy a while usually has one or two of these, but these guys earned one in combat, which makes it really special. The captain was awarded the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal and a Bronze Star Medal. So congrats to him, well deserved. And I'm sure that captain with just that combat experience will probably go far in the United States Navy. But the best award this crew got, I did not know about until this morning, and I think it's wonderful. So They're operating in the Central Command Theater. That's basically the Middle East, right? And there's one, general in charge of that entire theater. His name is Army General Mikhail Kurela, and he airlifted 1,000 pounds of barbecue to the ship on December 11th, about a month ago. And I'm just now hearing about this. So the crew ate barbecue for a couple meals at least, ate very well, as a reward for their actions for saving lives, shooting down ballistic missiles and drones off the coast of Yemen. And I tell you what, I wish I could, hear about that more often, because that is the type of personal touch that gives these commands, these huge organizations, a bit of a personality. It's not only about doing your job and being at sea and shooting down the missiles when you have to, and then being awarded awards that's going to help you promote your career over time. It is the general who's in charge of this area of the globe, recognizing the Carney's doing amazing work. Not only does he authorize things like the Bronze Star and commendation medals for the crew, he sends them some food. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. More stories like this, please. Military, send this out, because this is the human side of serving your country, and I love it. Oh, and credit to Heather for the story. I found out from her. All right, let's go to the Philippine Sea and the South China Sea. This is kind of both these bodies of water I'm talking about right here. The USS Carl Vinson is conducting drills with the Philippine Navy in the South China Sea and parts of the Philippine Sea as well. They're just practicing maneuvers, communication, target sharing, coordination, navigation, all the things you normally do when you're sailing your ship around at sea. This is not a named exercise or any kind of multinational large thing. It's just us and the Philippine Navy working together, developing that relationship and skill set with each other. This is great to see, because whenever I joined the Navy in 1990, we had what I thought was a great relationship with the Philippines, and that kind of deteriorated over some decades. And it looks like it's back to where it was that I remember whenever I joined. And I absolutely love to see this. Also, there's something kind of unique about the Navy, I believe, and those of you that have served in the Army and Air Force, tell me if this is the same for you, is whenever we serve with, say, the Philippine Navy, and we do exercises like this, there's often one or more ports will go visit together as a fleet. And then you get to meet those sailors. You're not just sailing with a ship. You get to see the people, the faces, the personalities ashore, and then you go to sea and work with them professionally. And that really solidifies that bond. I don't know of any other service that does that, but maybe they all do it. I don't know. I want you guys to tell me, but great to see this. So something that I don't know if I should be concerned about, so I want you guys to put your opinion into the comments here. China did float 4 balloons through the Taiwan Air Defense Identification Zone this week. And for the first time that I'm aware of, 3 of those balloons flew right over the island of Taiwan. And I'm pretty sure that is a actual violation of Taiwanese airspace, okay? It seems like it would be to me. And the altitudes of these balloons ranged from like 18,000 to like 30,000 feet. Different altitudes going over the island. Clearly some kind of signal. So I did some Googling, Google foo, if you please. And I found out the Taiwanese have an election coming up in a couple days, January 13th. They're doing their national election. And there's a couple different parties, but one party that stands a pretty good chance of winning is called the KMT party. And they desire a closer relationship with Beijing and China than with Washington. I mean, it's their country, their choice. They can do what they want. But I wonder if this balloon flying over the island is any kind of signal to that party. Is that a signal of support maybe? Or is it a threat? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. This might be a threat. I don't know. And it could be a nothing burger too, because while all that's going on, we flew a P-8 Poseidon up the Taiwanese Strait. First time we did it since October. But as in October, the Chinese military were very passive in their response to it. They recognized our airplane in international airspace. They flew up some fighters that did not fly near us. They were behind our plane, watching it fly through the international corridor there between the island of Taiwan and mainland China. And they didn't do anything aggressive. They did not get close to us. They didn't do what we had seen early in 2023, where they broke the sonic barrier right in front of the plane and it shook the plane a little bit, dropping flares, trying to get flares into the propellers or the intakes of the jet engines. They did none of that. And so we're going on like 4 months now of very passive professional behavior by the Chinese PLA and PLAN, both the Army and the Navy, since the new leaders have been taken over. If you remember going back, I think it's been more than a year now, the Minister of Defense, if you will, the head guy in charge of the military, was disappeared. And since that happened, the Chinese military has been much more professional in their behavior towards the United States. So I wonder if these new leaders, because we have a new general and a new admiral, who is a submarine officer, by the way, very good submarine officer that I'm a little concerned about because he's that good, is now running the Navy and the Air Force and the Army. So I think that those new heads of this military are the reason why they're more professional now, which is great. That's good news. But what I need to know is what the hell's going on here with these balloons? Like, what kind of signal is this? Is this a signal that's saying, hey, China, Taiwan, we can go over your airspace anytime we feel like it? Or is it a more positive message of, hey, Taiwan, you're part of us, welcome back to the family? I don't know. How should we interpret these balloon flights over the island of Taiwan? All right, let's move over to Turkey. So Turkey did a good. So we're going to congratulate Turkey here for making a very good decision. It's a brand new year. They get together and they announce what they're going to do with their Navy this year. And Turkey has greenlit the construction of a second aircraft carrier like this. We're going to get another one of these, probably with some modernization improvements, I would assume, but they're going to have 2 of these now, which is great. They're also building 4 additional I-class frigates right here. This ship. And this ship's pretty good. We've got a ship brief on this that we just made within the last 4 months. It's over on the YouTube member side and on the Patreon too, if you want to take a gander at it. It's a very capable ship and it's so good. They're going to build 4 more of them. So check it out. It's the Turkish Defense Industry Executive Committee is the committee that gets together and makes these kinds of decisions. On top of the aircraft carrier and 4 more of these ships, they've authorized the design of a new landing ship. Now, that could be like an LHD or an LHA that would look a lot like this, or it could be something much smaller. We don't know. They're going to design it, and then we're going to see some artist renditions of it. But the last thing that they did is they authorized the design of a brand new minesweeper. And this really hits home the point that mine warfare, one of the oldest technologies in naval warfare historically, is still very viable today in 2024. So they're building new minesweepers, new landing ships, 4 more of these warships, and a new aircraft carrier coming out of Turkey. Great job. This is a moment where I'm glad Turkey is a part of NATO, because I want a stronger Navy for everybody that's supporting our causes. And this is going to be a significant increase in naval power for the country of Turkey. So congratulations to them for that. And congratulations to Tayfon up there. He is the guy that wrote this story for navalnews.com. He's also the head researcher and writer for Subbrief. So love seeing him publish pieces like this. He also went into a lot of depth. Like, Turkey also exports a lot of gear, communications, weapons, as well as ships and systems to other countries. 176 other customer countries. That's a lot. That's like most of the world buys things from Turkey. And so Turkey in 2023 earned $5.5 billion in weapons and equipment sales around the world. That is up 27% from 2022. A 27% increase of anything in 1 year is significant. So Turkey is becoming quickly a major equipment, systems, weapons, and ships exporter for other countries. So good to have them on our side, right? All right. And I want you to check out today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Click the link in the description and get your prescription to better happiness with BetterHelp. And thanks to them for sponsoring this. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.